So top three, we'll go from third to first. Obviously, in third place, I've got Northampton Town. I think Northampton will probably just get automatic promotion after last season's heartache, where they actually won at Barrow, missed out on goal difference because Bristol's Rovers beat Scunthorpe 7-0. To this day, I still think it's dodgy. I think Northampton fans will agree that was very dodgy, don't they? So I think at half time it was only 1-0 to Bristol Rovers, and then they ended up scoring 6 goals in the second half. But personally, I think they will have a better season. I think the sign of Danny Hilton, who we were after, is a sign of intent that they're definitely desperate to get up. John Brady, good manager. They've got some good players. I watched them in the playoff final. They're unlucky to lose that game. I mean, the likes of Mitch Pinnock, who used to play for us, is very good at this level for them, and I think they'll have a fantastic season at this level. At this season, I think they will get top 3. In second place this year, I've got Walsall. Now, last year, I know they finished terribly, but they've made about 15 signings this summer, I think, up to 15. They've got a lot of money, they had a recent takeover, and I think they have... And the manager, Michael Flynn, who was previously at Newport, they can do very well. I mean, I'm happy with some of the signs they've made have been very decent for this level, and I think they'll have a much better season. They might get the playoff. They might finish in the playoffs, which I think they would take, considering they've been in this league since 2019 and haven't really done much. They've always been mid-table, but I think this year could be a year they could push for promotion. And then to wrap it off, as you can probably guess, the team I haven't mentioned yet, team that's going to win the league, in my opinion, is Bradford. Now, Bradford like Walsall, have spent a lot of money. I think they'll win the league I think they'll win the league with the quality of players they've got, especially the likes of, I think, was it Richard Smallwood, who was at Hull last year, one of the best midfielders in the Championship for Hull. He's joined them. They've also got some quality. I think that's when you've got a manager like Mark Hughes, who is very, 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 should be probably higher up than League 2. I think you can pull players to join your club, especially when you've got the ground as well, 24,000 capacity. I don't think they get that much, but they've got a massive ground to play at. You can sort of makes it easier for you to pull players to the to join you. And I think I watched them in a friendly against Sunderland the other night and they beat them 2-0. I think they've had a very good pre-season. I think they'll probably fly, but knowing me, they'll probably end up finishing mid-table and be terrible this season. But personally, I think Bradford will win the league. I think if anybody else wins, whoever finishes above Bradford next season will go up. That's how confident I am. I think they'll win the league. If you finish above Bradford, you think you're going to go up next season. But once again, guys, that's it. That's the end. That's the end. That's my League 2 predictions video. Done and dusted. Of course, don't worry if you don't want to watch the video and you'll see the video go up. Don't worry, I will post another copy on my Instagram, which you can follow with links down in the description on below. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and the next video will be up on the Sunday, my Oxford United match review, unless of course we do sign some more players before Saturday's game against Oxford, in that case it will go up earlier than that. But once again, guys, thank you very much. You have been smashing the videos. The Ipswich review was smashed, the most viewed video on the channel, and it's only gone up since Sunday. Fantastic. But once again, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. So on to top 7th, and in 7th place might be a surprise to a few people, but I've gone with the team that won the National League last season, Stockport. Now I know I keep asking people this, why are they favourites for the league? I mean, don't get me wrong, they've obviously came up with a record number of points for them in a season, and they've got some very good players like Fraser Horsfall. That's the one I can remember off the back of memory. But again, I don't think Dunlea's team are always his favourites to go up. Never seen to do well. Personally, I think they will, if they get in the playoffs, that's an achievement. But don't get me wrong, I think they will have a good season. They've got a good manager in Dave Challoner, who left them from Hartlepool to go drop back down last season. I think they were mid-table when he went there in October, and he managed to win the title with them ahead of the other money club, Wrexham, who never came up. I thought were going to come up with Stockport. But I think the struggle is to go from non-league to the League 2. It's a bit of a huge step. I don't think they can make the step up in 1 year. I think it will take a couple of seasons. But I've gone for Stockport to finish in 7th. In 6th place, I've gone from another team who came down from League 1, and that's Gillingham. Now, Gillingham, under Neil Harris, they did well last season. I think they had started off well under him. He got them out of the bottom 4, but lost. I don't think they won any of their last 7 games, which saw them eventually relegated with us on the last day of the season because they obviously had Rotherham at home. But they made some good signings, like some Mikael Mandron and another striker they signed, Scott Kashkit. I think that's very good quality players for League Two. And they've strengthened some good players. I think Elkan Baggott from Ipswich was a good signing because I think he's one of the highly rated youngsters from Ipswich, and I think he'll do well for them. Of course, they're our first day opponents next Saturday, and they've signed one of our former players in Shea Alexander. And yeah, I've got them to finish 6th. In 5th place, I've got ourselves. I've got the Dons to finish in 5th. I think a lot of people might think I'm going a bit high with that. I think more people might think mid-table, but I think we can have a good season. I think we'll probably start off a bit slow. I can't probably get 1 or 2 wins in the first 6 to start a bit slow. But once you get that momentum together, you can push up. I mean, look at where we were the last time we came up from League Two. We were about 15th in December, and then all of a sudden from January onwards, we never looked back. We just started pushing up towards the playoffs. I think we went on about 5 or 6 match winning streak to the end of the season. So it can happen. I mean, we could push for top 3. I don't think we will. I mean, I'm happy with the signings we've brought in at the moment, as you've seen in my videos. I think we can have an okay season. I think 5th is definitely realistic for us. I think most people probably have us down as mid-table though, but I think we can push for the playoffs. I mean, you're never going to get predictions that people are going to agree with your predictions, but I think definitely 5th is realistic. And 4th place, just to finish out on automatic promotion, I've got the other so-called money club from the League Two, and that's Salford. Now, this is a club that always seem to spend a load of money and try and buy themselves up the league. I think this year they haven't really spent that much money. They've not sold any players. They've still got the same sort of players they had last year, but they've not bought anyone for quite a lot of money, I don't think. And I think they'll have a good season. Neil Wood, their manager, I think is Manchester United Academy. I think they might have a good season. This is another one I could have swapped with Mansfield. I think they might take 4th Mansfield. Salford might just miss out on the playoffs because of what happened over recent seasons. I don't think they've actually made the playoffs since they've come up from the National League in 2019. I think they've had about 4. Obviously, the first year didn't count COVID, but I think they've had 3 seasons at this level, and I don't think they've made the playoffs once. Considering they're one of the favourites always to go up, I think they might have a bit of a struggling season. But I think Salford could definitely get 4th. Sorry, my camera cut out there. Sorry, I think they'll have a good season under Nigel Clough. I think if they can get some quality players in, they could do well again. I mean, they've still got the likes of Rhys Oates, the striker, and somebody else I can't remember. James Perch in the midfield, and good centre halves in John O'Toole and Ollie Hawkins. So they could do again. They could have a good season again, I think, next year. I think the main aim for them is to get out of League One because League Two, because I think they've been in the League Two playoffs quite a few seasons. If I remember off memory when we were watching the teams who came up to League One. And yeah, now on to the top. Now in 14th place, I've got Sutton United. Now Sutton United surprised everyone last year and did look like Harrogate could have gone up to League One. They came up from the conference and they smashed it at the start of the season, but just sort of faded away near the end. But good job Matt Gray's done nonetheless there at Sutton. With the players they've got especially, they've done fantastically well. I think it'll be a more quiet season. I think they'll be more figured out. I could finish a bit lower than 14th because a lot of teams do tend to struggle on their second season back in the new division because obviously a lot of players figure you out or teams figure out how you play. But for me, I think Sutton will finish in 14th. In 13th place, I've got Crawley Town. Crawley Town are another team who could finish higher with the money they've got from the old NFT stuff, if you know what they are. And personally, I think, they've got one good player in Dom Telford. How the hell they managed to get him to sign, I don't know. But then again, you look at his goal scoring record at other clubs. He doesn't seem to think... He hasn't really done well. I mean, at Plymouth and Bristol Rovers, I think, especially, he was not very great there. But, who knows, different league, you might do a bit better for them. I think if they get some more players in, they've got a good young manager in Kevin Betsy. I think they could push further up the table. But again, the trouble is, like Stephen Edge, they don't get many people watching them. I think they put a thing on funny the other day saying they were happy they got 300 season ticket holders for next season. I think that's a bit too... bit too, bit too below the bar, but there we go. So as that's finishing the bottom half. To start off the top half of the table, in 12th place, I put Leighton Orient. Leighton Orient, good manager, and Richie Wellens, who's done very well since he came in at the back up last season. Like us, had a bit of a poor end to the season, poor run in the season, but they did manage to get a win, unlike ourselves, because we obviously had a bit of a struggle. Of course, we didn't win a game, but they also had a struggle, and I think they went on about 16 match winless run as well last season in League Two, which saw them go from, I think, 7th in the table to about 20th. Funnily enough, still had a plus goal difference when they were 20th in the table. That's a bit ironic. I don't know how they managed to have a plus goal difference when they're down the bottom. But I think when Kenny Jackett was replaced by Richie Wellens, they sort of turned around and put a bit more stable season under them. I think they've done well, especially I like the signing of George Moncur they've made. That's a fantastic signing. I think they could do a lot better if they can get the quality of them sort of players to come in. Then yeah, they might have a good season as well. In 11th place, I've put Carlisle United. Carlisle, again, team last year, very poor. They were struggling, I think, for quite a majority of this League Two season last year. Paul Simpson then came in and he sort of turned them around and managed to guide them to a bit of a more stable mid-table position. And they've made some quality purchases. I mean, they're starting Thomas Holy himself as a goalkeeper. He's very good at this level. He's a very tall keeper. And I think he's highly rated. I think he had a good spell at Port Vale last season in their promotion run, or I don't know if he played much actually, could be wrong. But I think they'll have a good season. I think they'll carry on the form they had last year and have a good end to it, yeah. So and to finish, so in 10th place, I've got another team that came down from League Two. That's Doncaster Rovers. Now they've made some good signings, so don't get me wrong, they can finish higher than Gary McSheffrey. But like ourselves last year, the problem was with Doncaster is their defence was very poor last season. They need to improve that defence because I think they let in the most goals. I think they finished on a minus 46 goal difference last season, which is not very good at all. But like ourselves, weren't officially relegated until the last day of the season, despite how bad their goal difference was. They wasn't officially down. They could still get out of it, of course, in a massive goal swing, but they weren't officially down. But they can have a better season. I think they'll, like ourselves, we will just be looking to bounce back, straight back up to League One at the first time asking. And yeah, hopefully they could do well. In 9th place, I've got Swindon Town. Now, Swindon Town, last year playoff team, could do it again. Unfortunately, I don't think they will because I think they've lost a lot of players. But their manager has gone as well. He went to Charlton. A lot of their players have gone to Charlton as well, followed him there, like Jack Payne and somebody else, I can't remember. The goalkeeper, JJ Wallacott as well. Scott Lindsay's their manager. They brought in some good quality players like Angus MacDonald is a very good sign, and obviously they've got the likes of Harry McCurdy still, but they haven't really got that striking position, which they did have last year. Obviously they had Tyrese Simpson, but he went back to Ipswich and hasn't featured for them. I could do better if I get one or two players in. Of course, the window doesn't shut until the end of August. So this is based on start of season. So yeah, I've got Swindon down to finish in 9th. And then to finish in 8th, just missing out on the playoffs, is last year's playoff finalist Mansfield Town. Now Mansfield, again, Nigel Clough, good manager. They might just sneak in ahead of 7th. 7th, I'm not really sure on myself, but I think Mansfield might have a decent season under Nigel Clough. On to 19th place. In 19th place, I put one of the teams that came up from last season from the National League, and that's Grimsby. Now, Grimsby won the playoffs. They beat Solihull in the final. I think they took all 3 games to extra time, if I can remember when they came up. They did Notts County, Wrexham, and then Solihull Moors, and I think they'll finish 19th. I think they'll have a good season. They'll probably start off quite well, considering they've come off on the back of a promotion. They'll probably just fade away near the end and just could finish a bit higher than 19th, about 15th, 16th, but I think they'll finish 19th in my opinion. Now 18th place is a team that came down from League One last year, and that's Crewe. Crewe had a terrible season last season, like ourselves obviously. Got relegated, probably deservedly so, like ourselves, and the signings they've made in the summer I've not really been impressed with. I think they've signed basic players, to be honest with you. Sorry, Crewe fans, if I'm offending you, but personally, I think you'll finish 18th. You might have a better season than that. Obviously, the main aim is to probably push straight back up, but I I don't think it's going to happen. I've put them to finish 18th. Now in 17th place, I've got Newport County, a team who have been playoff finalists, I think, 2 times in the last 4 seasons. They've lost to Tranmere and Morecambe respectively. Yeah, I can't see them doing well purely because of the fact they lost Dominic Telford to Crawley, and I don't think they've really replaced him. I think they brought Omar Bogle in from Hartlepool, but when you've got a striker scoring about 20 goals a season for you, it's hard to replace. And I think last year, they even with him in the team, they finished about 11th. So I think it'll be a bit of a quiet season for Newport. Again, could be wrong, but we shall see. In 16th place, I've got Colchester United, who are local to me, obviously, as I live in Suffolk. But I think with Colchester, I think they've got some good players. They've got a very settled squad there, but again, they're never a side that sort of pushes for the playoffs. They could do eventually, I suppose, if they get some more players in by after I've recorded this, but I think it'll be a bit quiet season yet again for Colchester. And I think, to be honest with you, I think they'll need some good players to get out of the league. They could do well, but the problem is with them, I think they signed quite a lot of ex-Ipswich players because of the local rival, because of the local availability of them that seem to go. So yeah, in 15th place this year, I've got Tranmere. Now Tranmere were a team last year pushing for the playoffs, and they just don't score many goals, and they're very good at keeping clean sheets, but they don't score many goals last year. I think personally they're going to struggle even a bit more this year. They could be wrong, because of course they could do a lot better than what I'm saying, because they have got the quality of the players to do better than what I'm saying. But I think they're going to have a bit of a quiet season and finish 15th. Hey guys, one more till I die here, back again with another video, and yes, it's that time with just 9 days to go until the start of the brand new League 2 season. Unfortunately, our first taste of League 2 football since my promotion from the divisions in 2016. It is time for my predictions. Now, some of you may know this is my predictions, this is my opinion. If you're in another part of another club watching this, don't be offended. This is how I think this table will finish this season. I personally, if you are taking offence and you're going to have a go at me in the comments, then that's fine. I'll take anything credit if you want. But I will also be posting a picture of this on my Instagram later on when the video goes live. I think it's going to go live around the day, but as you're seeing this, they're probably already on my Instagram. But yeah. Anyway, if you agree, if you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, and let's get on with it. So we'll start with the bottom 2. Now, 24th place, I have put Barrow. I think purely on the basis of last season, from what I saw in League 2, they did not have a very good end to the season. They only just scraped survival in the division, and personally, I think they will struggle again this season. I think if they could get some better, decent players in. I mean, I know I've got that Pete Wild as their manager now. If they get some better players in, they might have a chance of staying up. But for me, sorry Barrow fans, you're finishing bottom of the league. To join Barrow going down to the National League next season is a team who only came down from League 1 the last season from the COVID season. Is Rochdale. Now again, this is another club that might do a bit better. They've got a good manager in Robbie Stockdale, don't get me wrong, but some of the players they have bought in this season haven't been great. The only outstanding signing is Ian Henderson, who they managed to get back from Salford after he left them 2 seasons ago. But the same thing is, they've not really strengthened much. They've lost Owen O'Connell, who was probably arguably one of their better centre-backs, to Charlton. I don't think they've really replaced him well. But they might surprise some people. They might end up finishing the plus. But for me, sorry Rochdale, you'll finish in 23rd. Now, 22nd, just surviving the relegation from League 2, is Stevenage. Now, Stevenage, I've spent early buys. They've bought a lot of players in this season at the start of the window, but got a bit quiet recently. I think they'll just survive purely the fact that they usually do tend to buy a lot of players and still struggle. And I think the home crowds there aren't very good. They only average about 1,500 a game, which is not great for this level. But who knows, maybe Steve Evans could get them going and move them up the division, but I think from back in last season when they only just survived ahead of Oldham, I can't see it happening, and I think they'll just survive it again this season. Got on to 21st place. In 21st place, I predicted Harrogate Town. Now, Harrogate Town another team last season. They had a fly, I think, from start of League Two. They were top of the league, miles away, and were cruising. They looked like at one stage they could have came up to League One, but the good start never carried on. They ended up slipping. They ended up finishing about 20th in the end. And I think that form might carry on into next season. They've made some good business. They've signed quite a few players. Fair play to them, and they're a very smallish sort of club in the division. But to be honest with you, I can't see them doing very well next season. And that's why I predict them to finish 21st. In 20th, I've got another team that came up. From the National League 2 years ago. It's Hartlepool, our first away game. Hartlepool again have made some fantastic signings. I think they've signed some good players, but with a new manager coming in, and on the back of I think it was a bit of a poor end to the last season for them when I think they sacked their manager. It wouldn't surprise me if they struggled a bit to get grips. I don't think there'll be any sort of danger. I think they might be one of them teams that look to finish mid-table and just sort of have a bit of a poor end to the season and end up finishing just above the drop zone. But in 20th place, I put Hartlepool.